Hey guys, I'm Brett the Nerdy Engineer. One question I seem to get a lot is why did I choose to get a Tesla? Especially from people that know me and know I tend to be a little cheap. My mom and sisters referred to me as a cheapskate, so it came as a big shock that I would spend so much money on a vehicle. I personally don't think I'm cheap as much as I am frugal. There's certain things that I just don't want to spend money on. I think are a waste. Cable, I haven't had cable in over 7 years. I cut my own hair, if you can't tell. Don't go shopping very often. My wife gives me a hard time because I still wear Structure shirts occasionally. Structure went out of business when I was in high school, so these shirts are, they're getting up there in age. However, there are things that I don't really mind spending money on, like technology-related stuff. Cell phones, tablets, used to have a Moto 360 smartwatch. So there's certain things that I will splurge on, and I view the Tesla as technology, not just a car. Before this, I hadn't spent over $25,000 on a vehicle. So I originally decided that I was gonna wait and buy a Model 3. I knew there was still a few years out. Last summer, I finally gave in and test drove a Tesla Model S. I'd resisted for a long time because there was no way I was gonna spend that kind of money on a car. But I never actually test drove one until last summer, and I immediately fell in love. I walked away knowing two things for certain: that the Model S was the best car in the world, hands down, and two, that electric vehicles were the future. There was just no going back after I drove an electric vehicle. I knew that was the future. There's so many things that make electric cars superior to gasoline cars. There's no turning back. Nobody's ever going to want a gasoline car if they can get an electric car for a similar price. You can charge at home, so you don't have to waste time going to a gas station every week or every other week. You just charge at home and you go about your day. They're also extremely responsive. When you press the accelerator, there's no lag. The car immediately accelerates. They're also really low maintenance. There's no oil changes to do. Your brakes are going to last a lot longer because of regenerative braking. You basically replace your windshield wiper blades and refill your washer fluid. And that's about all the maintenance you have to do on a regular basis. On top of all the things that make electric cars so great, Teslas have a lot of features that really set themselves apart. They have that beautiful 17-inch touchscreen. They provide free over-the-air updates, so one day you'll just wake up and your car will be better than it was the day before. Even Model S's that were purchased back in 2012 are still getting an over-the-air update. Their cars are still getting better than the day they purchased them. Teslas also have the furthest range out of any electric vehicles. Depending on what battery size you get, it can be 200 to over 300 miles of range on a single charge. And even better than that, Tesla's the only company that has a supercharger network. So you can drive practically anywhere along the major interstates and recharge about, I believe it's 180 miles in 30 minutes. So you can really road trip in a Tesla, whereas a different electric vehicle, you couldn't do that. Now, there were a couple of things about the Model S that I didn't particularly like. The biggest one was really that I'm just not a sports car kind of guy. I prefer an SUV or a crossover, so I knew I wanted to wait to see what the Model X was, which at the time hadn't even been released yet. I'm so glad that I ended up waiting for the Model X. When I test drove the Model S, I knew hands down that was the best car at the time. There was no other vehicle in the world that could compete with the Model S. But now that the Model X is out, it really gives the Model S a run for its money. Not only do you sit higher up because it's an SUV or a crossover, but because of the panoramic windshield, it doesn't feel nearly as claustrophobic. The Model S, the roof is so low that it really kind of feels enclosed, but the Model X doesn't have that at all because you've got that huge glass windshield. I was a little nervous that the Falcon Wing doors might just be a gimmick, but they really do add true functionality on top of just looking badass. Speaking of badass, these ultra-white seats are awesome. I'm so glad. I was nervous about getting them, kept going back and forth between ultra-white and black, but they just look so good. I also really like that the Model X has power front doors. So when you get in, you sit down, put your foot on the brake, and the driver's door automatically closes. Or you can close them and open them on the touchscreen. Overall, I could not be happier with my decision. I was nervous that I was going to make the most expensive mistake of my life when I bought the Model X, sight unseen. When I configured mine, I had never seen a Model X in person, let alone test-driven one. In fact, the first time I drove a Model X is when I drove my Model X home from Tesla. I absolutely love my Tesla. I'm still obsessed with it, and I've had it for over 6 months. And I don't see that going away at all. I love everything about my configuration too. I've got the pearl white exterior, ultra white interior, carbon fiber trim, 6-seater. I wouldn't change a single thing about my configuration if I could do it all over again. I absolutely love this car and everything about it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Please like and subscribe. That way you can see all my future videos about Tesla and upcoming tech products.